Hi everyone, my name is Hope, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute crochet Bible case, Bible carrier. It has this button and this clasp that I will show you how to make. And here is my Bible inserted into it. It has pocket inserts for your pages to go into. I will be showing you how you can customize it to fit your Bible, whether it's bigger, smaller, etc. And this is just like a store-bought one. Like I said, you can see that the pockets are going over the pages, and this is perfect for the people that have smaller Bibles that don't fit inside of store-bought ones. So here it is without. I'm taking out my Bible now. Here it is without it, so you can see how it's made and what it looks like by itself. So let's get started. You will need a crochet hook, scissors, yarn. I'm using burgundy, a sewing needle, and stitch markers. If you don't have stitch markers, feel free to use safety pins. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to make a slip knot. So in order to make a slip knot, you want to take your yarn, you want to wrap it around 2 fingers, and form a loop. Take that loop and take your yarn that's attached to your ball, which is called working yarn, and put it through the loop you just made. Take your tail end, which is the one that's not connected to anything, and you want to pull on that to tighten your knot. And you just made a slip knot. So stick your crochet hook into the loop and pull on that working yarn to make your slip knot smaller. And you want to make sure that it is not too tight, not too loose. And then you want to grab your Bible and you want to open it up, lay it face down. I know some Bibles do not completely lay flat down, but just to the best of your ability, try to get it to lay as flat as possible. And we are going to be chaining end to end, cover to cover, the length of our Bible that it is while it's open. So we're going to be chaining end to end, cover to cover. So take your yarn, your crochet hook, and you want to wrap the yarn around your hand. There are different ways that you can do this. So one way is you can take the yarn between your middle and ring finger and pinch it in between, and then take your thumb and your pointer finger and hold your work and chain that way. Or the way that I like to do it is you can take the yarn, wrap it around your pinky, wrap your yarn twice around your forefinger, your pointer finger, and pinch the yarn between your middle and thumb and start chaining like that. So whichever way is comfortable for you, you do that. And then just continue to chain from cover to cover, end to end, the length of your Bible that it is open. And I will see you guys back after I've finished doing that, and I will let you know how many chains I have done. Remember, everyone's is different, so I'll let you know how many I do when I come back. Alright, so I have finished chaining end to end my chain, and when you do this, you want to make sure that when you're holding it up, it is not stretched. So if you want to go ahead and put it from end to end, and then just take your hands off of it just to make sure that you're not stretching it out, to make sure that the length is good. Then go ahead and do that. I'm going to do one more here for good measure, and then hold it back up. So you want to try to get this an exact fit, because we're going to be making the one that has pockets. We're going to be making the Bible case that has pockets to insert our pages into. So it's important that you get it as close as possible. So again, just hold it up end to end, see if it fits, and continue. We will continue on to the next part. Alright, so once you feel like your chain measures the amount that fits your Bible and fits your needs, you want to begin crocheting. So when you're doing anything with single crochet, you always want to make sure that you're going into the second chain from the hook. So insert your hook, wrap the yarn around, pull through, and drop a loop. You should have 2 loops. And then you want to wrap the yarn around again and pull through both of those loops. And you've just made a single crochet. So insert your crochet hook, wrap the yarn around once, pull up a loop. So you should have 2 loops on your hook, and then pull through both of those loops to create a single crochet. So you want to continue to do this all down your chain, and I will also do this, and when I have finished I will come back and show you how to start a new row. Alrighty, so once you've reached the end of your row, to start a new row, a single crochet, you want to wrap the yarn around your hook and form a chain. So just chain 1. You want to turn your work, and then you want to insert your hook into that first single crochet that you did and drop a loop. Then you want to yarn over and pull through and create a single crochet. So that is how you start a new row. So you want to continue single crocheting back and forth, starting new rows, until you have reached the height of your Bible. So you should end up with a piece that looks similar to this. So here is this one. I did 37 single crochets, and I did 38 rows for the height of my piece. So 37 single crochets that I chained to begin with, and then 38 rows up for the height. So again, yours may be different, but do it until it covers your Bible entirely. If the yarn that you are using is acrylic yarn, acrylic material, your corners will always tend to curl up like this. So the way to fix that is a technique called wet blocking. So you can look up other videos to do this. I'm not going to show this on camera, but pin the corners down either to a piece of cardboard, towel, with thumbtacks or clips even, and you want to spray it with water, soak it in water, and let it dry, and that should make it lay flat. Alright, so once you have finished crocheting end to end, you've wet blocked, it's dry, lay your Bible flat on top of it and determine again if it's good. And then you want to fasten off, you want to cut off all of your ends, and you want to sew them in. And now we're going to move on to the pockets. So turn your Bible over. And this part is also pretty customizable. You want to determine how far you want your pockets to come in. So for me, I want to make my pockets as wide as one column. So from the end margin to the middle margin where my fingers are, that's how wide I want my pockets to come in. So we are going to chain that amount. And for me, that is 10 chains across. So one column is 10 chains. Again, for you, it may be different, but for me, that's the amount for mine. And again, use your best judgment. This is your project and your Bible case. Alright, so let me finish chaining and then hold it up and count. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me do one more for good measure, and 10. And then when you're doing single crochet, you always want to chain a +1, so 10 plus 1, and then crochet into the second chain from the hook, draw up a loop, and then single crochet. So just continue single crocheting for the amount of yours, and I will see you back at the end. Alright, so I'm finishing up single crocheting this row, and I'm going to now chain up and continue single crocheting the height of my first rectangle. So I have 38 rows on my first panel. I'm going to do 38 rows on this one. Alright, so I finished crocheting 38 rows up, and again, yours may be a different amount. As long as it covers your margins, your columns, it's fine. And now we're going to join to our first rectangle. So do not fasten off. You see I still have the yarn attached. Do not fasten off. Just grab your first rectangle that you did, your main panel, and see I've already done the other side. I didn't fasten off my ends. I'm just going to leave those for now. And what you want to do is you want to take the panel that you just crocheted, your pocket that you just crocheted, and you want to line those up, and we're going to join those together. So when you're going to join these together, your two panels, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the last stitch that you just single crocheted faces away from the corner of your first panel. So make sure your last stitch faces away from the end, away from the corner of your first panel. And again, my amount is going to be different. So what you want to do is you want to count over the amount just to make sure that everything is lined up. Count over the amount of your pocket. So since I single crocheted 10, I am going to I'm going to count over 10 just to make sure that both my panels are lined up. So you can see that I'm counting over 10, and this is just to ensure that when I sew it, it is not uneven or crooked. Now, when you're joining, you want to take your crochet hook and make sure you insert your hook into both panels. So both single crochets, both panels. I know it feels very thick and bulky, but just insert it into both panels. You want to pull the yarn through both. So I apologize, this part is somewhat off camera, but you want to pull through both single crochets. And then after you do that, you want to drop a loop, and then you want to pull that loop through to slip stitch. So continue doing that. So insert your crochet hook into both, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the hook. And just continue slip stitching on down. We're going to be slip stitching around the whole entire thing, and I will come back to you to show you how to do that. A good way to secure your panels while you're joining is to use stitch markers. If you don't have them, it's okay, but it's just helpful when you are joining your two pieces together. The stitch markers helps to keep it intact and keep it from moving around while you're joining, since the panels are so big. So you would just do that like normal. Again, if you don't have stitch markers necessarily, feel free to use safety pins. So you can see this is a safety pin that I got, kind of like one of those fashion safety pins that come with your jeans sometimes. And I'm just going to put that in there, and this will help your panels stay in place as you are slip stitching your way and joining these two panels together. Alrighty, so once you have your stitch marker in, make sure that your panels are on the same side. So if you already did one, make sure that the other one is on the same side that you did the other one, and make sure that they're again lined up and everything's ready to go. And just continue slip stitching your way across, and I will meet you back when you get to your corners. I have some advice for that. Alright, so when you get to your corners, what you want to do is you actually want to put 2 slip stitches in each corner. So as you can see, I already finished the first one that's marked with the orange stitch marker right there, and then I slip stitch down that side, and I'm at this corner. I just wanted to show you guys that in each corner you want to put 2 slip stitches. So that is basically to turn the corner, if that makes sense. So the first stitch is to finish off that row, and then the second slip stitch is to turn the corner and to work along the other row. And after you've done that, you just want to continue slip stitching for the rest of your piece. Do not put 2 slip stitches into that last corner. It's not necessary because we're not turning any rows, we're just simply joining it. But put 2 in each corner as marked by that one. And I know this side is pretty much pure guesswork since there are no defined single crochets, but as long as it's lined up and you're putting your crochet hook through both panels, it should be okay. Just make sure it's not bunched up or cinched up. Just make sure that it's straight like that, and it's okay that it's not pretty. No one will see the stitch. Alright, so once you finish slip stitching around the whole entire thing and joining, you can weave in you can fasten off, weave in your tail ends, and sew it in with the sewing needle. And then you want to remove your stitch markers. You don't need them anymore. And just to check our work, we are going to turn it inside out. So turn both pieces inside out. Make sure you push your corners out, push them out so that they can be the full shape that they're supposed to be. And then sit back and admire your work so far. So we are 3/4 of the way done. This is what our pockets look like so far. Again, everyone's is different. It doesn't have to look like mine. And make sure everything is even though. Make sure everything is sewed on properly, is joined properly, and it looks good to you so far. So once you feel like everything is good, it looks good to you, go ahead and fasten off and sew in all of your ends. I'm not going to show myself doing this, but just hide your tails, hide your ends inside of your work, and then I will show you what I did to close it, how I fastened on my button, and how I made my own closure piece. Alrighty, so this is my finished product. As you can see, I put on my own button and I made my own clasp. How I did that was I chained 23 and I single crocheted into the 7th chain from the hook, and what that did was it formed a loop, and then I just continued single crocheting down the rest of the chain. You don't have to close yours this way, this is just what I did to close it, but like I said, I single crocheted and then I sewed it onto the back. I didn't weave in my tails, finish weaving my tails, but I sewed it onto the back, and that way it is secure. And I sewed on my button. So the way that I did this, pro tip, if you are having trouble threading big yarn like this through your buttons, use glue. Put some on your fingers, twist the ends, and the glue will help it stay in that shape, and then thread it through the button. And then pull the yarn through the end with your crochet hook if you need to, and then tie it in a knot to your piece. So it's tucked away inside of the pocket, that's why you can't see it, but this is what my Bible looks like inside of my Bible case. Let me know if you guys have any questions, modifications, and I'd love to know how it went for you. Thank you guys, and bye!